Brilliant. Okay, well, welcome everybody to our part 4 of 5 of Sea to Source row. And we're all on a bit of a high after the Race the Thames week, where Di, maybe you can say what the group and our collaborates sort of helped us do.
Yeah, we'll do. So Race the Thames organised by London Youth Rowing and hosted by them. And we had a group of 11 people from this session, 11 women who joined together to do the 346-kilometre challenge, raising money for London Youth Rowing, Love Rowing and the Samaritans. And it looks like we're going to hit £2,500, which is just amazing. So thank you to everybody from this group who A, was involved and B, donated. Thank you. Yeah, really blown away by, it'll be over 110 people. So us people that have never met in person, it's just through Zoom Ergos. So a big thank you to Zoom Ergos and everybody that's got up. Okay, so how are we going to do this session this morning? It's obviously your session, but Sam, and maybe we can pin Sam, is going to do a 5-minute mobilization. So just like we do on the towpath meet, move our bodies. I'll go on the Ergo for 5 minutes just to sort of work up the slide. Then 5 minutes, just get yourself sorted, and then we'll start our 30-minute piece. But obviously, if you need to go. If you want to do something different, that's fine. So over to you, Sam.
Thank you. Right, your choice. Do join me if you want to. If you're happy to just carry on the Erg with your warm-up, that's absolutely fine. But I'm going to take you through a whole body just mobilization. So you can off your Erg if you can, or stay seated for the first part of it. You're nice and tall, whether you're seated or standing, tall from the crown of your head, chest lifted, tummy muscles in, big smile on your face at 7:30 in the morning. Well done. Okay, shoulder mobility. So just roll those shoulders backwards. Brilliant. So taking your shoulders through their biggest range of movement you can manage. Stick with that if you want to. If you want to make it slightly bigger, thumbs onto your shoulders, drawing circles with your elbows. And again, imagine you've got chalk on the end of your elbows. Make that circle that you're drawing with your chalk as big as possible. And then take it into full arm circles if you wish. You can stay where you are if you want to. Reaching right up, backward arm circles. If I'm short on time, I tend to just do backward arm circles because it encourages opening out the shoulders. Where if you go forwards, it's sort of sloping the shoulders forwards and encourages poorer posture. Keep going. I'm warming up already. Okay, into shoulder shrugs, lifting your shoulders up to your ears, drawing them back and down, getting those muscles going between your shoulder blades, and then reaching up to the ceiling and back down. So as you reach up, engage your brain and cross right over left, then left over right, and then do the opposite on the way down. Right over left, left over right. Getting a bit of a reach under your arm and down your side. Okay, a little bit of a rotation. Again, you can do this seated if you want to. I'm just gently moving from side to side. I'm nice and tall still got my tummy muscles in. So really important, particularly when you're rowing, to enable yourself to look over your shoulder if you're in bow. Okay. Increasing that if you want to. So I've got my arms either up at shoulder height like this, elbows at shoulder height, or you can have your hands across your chest. So just gently rotating side to side. If you're up like this, try and keep your shoulders, elbows back so you can feel those muscles between your shoulder blades working. Brilliant. Okay, scapular retraction. So scapula are the your shoulder blades. You are squeezing those shoulder blades together like this, turning your palms towards the front, or you can keep your elbows tucked into your side and turn your palms are up and you're rotating your arms out to the side, really activating those postural muscles. Make them work. Well done. Okay, your hands on your hips, nice high knees. So just mobilizing your hips a little bit. Again, you can do this seated as well, just lifting your knees up and down off of the floor with your feet. Add in your arms if you want to, coordinating that. If you have trouble with the coordination, just put your hands on your hips or put your hands up like this and then time it so that your hands come down to meet your knees. Well done. Okay, opening out your hips, going a little bit faster, getting a little bit warmer now. So imagine you got chalk on the end of your knee. This time you're drawing the biggest circle you can manage with your knee. So I'm going inside to outside. Now I'm going the other way around. The other way to think about it is imagine you've got a beach ball on the floor and you're trying to get your leg up and over the beach ball. Other leg, so I'm doing outside to inside, up and over that beach ball. Good. Other way round, so I'm going outside to inside now. I must have done inside to outside. It's too early. Okay, hands on hips, drawing circles with your hips. Can you go a little bit faster or a little bit bigger? And go the other way round. Lovely, right, nice tight tummy muscles, doing a hip hinge, so you're bowing, basically. Let your bottom go out towards the back, and you're keeping a nice straight line through your back. Just gently easing yourself a little bit further each time. Tummy muscles in nice and tight. 2 more. Last one. Almost there. Narrow squats, please. So imagine your feet are in your foot stretcher. Stick your bottom out and do some narrow squats. Keeping your chest lifted. So it's the action that you're using when you're rowing on the erg. You can throw your arms back a little bit, go a little bit faster, getting warmer now. And then if you want to, you do 4 with a little jump to finish off with. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully you're nice and warm. Get yourself onto your erg. Over to you, Judith.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sam. And also a big thank you to you for promoting this through your business, Corfit Cumbria. We'll get that link in the chat as well. Okay, so in this last bit of warm up, just get on the erg, make sure that you've got your feet so that your hamstrings are not being pinched. The setting on a reasonable level for longer distance, so I've got it between 4 and 5. And sitting up, that hinge exercise that Sam did, sitting up, get ready. Okay, so we're just starting to feel those scapular warm-up exercise help. I'm just doing hands only, but then leading into body lean in 3, in 2, in 1, go. So starting to feel that hamstring stretch. Not too much effort at the moment, just let the body get the circulation going. So we've just started to move it with the warm-up exercises. And we're now just warming up the muscles for the rowing action. Okay, another 10 seconds of this. And think about where your hands lead you, shoulders rocking over. Now starting to let the knees just bend. So letting the momentum of the hands and the shoulders just let the knees bend. Keeping a strong core. And just moving to half slide. So just letting the hands and body momentum just let you come up the slide a bit more. So we're just imagining we have come out of Teddington Lock on the upstream side. So this is the non-tidal part of the river. A part of the river that's got so many rowing clubs. And In the Thames region, there's sort of three sectors: upriver, London, and downriver, which is basically the tideway, and then East London. So we're now in the upriver section. Just going to move to 3/4 slide. And in about 15 seconds, I'm just going to do a little burst of 10.5 pressure. Just as we imagine we're leaving the lock and heading up for a lovely morning row at one of those, passing all those boat clubs, all the way up to Dorney Lake. Are you ready? 10.5 pressure. Go. Just at 3/4 slide, just getting a little bit more pressure on. But keeping that technique. Making more sure we're not overdoing the joints. Okay, pedal light. And at 15 seconds, I'm just going to do, still at 3/4 pressure, just 10, a little higher rating, a little more pressure. I'm still not at my full range of movement. That'll come for the piece. Ready, 10, 3/4 pressure, 3/4 slide, go. Not overreaching. Good strong leg drive. Good strong core. Connecting between the feet, through the body and the handle. Okay, so in this last 30 seconds, think about if you want to adjust anything on your ergo, adjust your feet before we go into a longer session. Okay, and pedal light. So we're imagining the water's really flat and we're the only one that's come out of the lock. Right, easy there. Right, 5 minutes. So sort out any ventilation you want. Make sure you've got your water. I'm going to go and put my trainers on. So, and we're going to be starting, I'm going to be starting a 30-minute piece, but if you've only got 10 minutes or whatever you want to do, that's absolutely fine. Okay. Right, excuse me, I'll just move your body, do a bit of stretching. I'm just going to go and get my.
So we're making sure we've got the right amount of clothes on, dependent on whether you're inside or outside in a freezing cold garage or in a nice warm house. Although this isn't going to be a raised piece, so you will be able to adjust your clothing as we go along. It's good discipline to know what you're going to be doing.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all again for donating. Got 2.5 minutes left. And those that didn't hear at the beginning, thanks to Ergos for bringing this Race the Thames crew together from, probably 11 different clubs. So it's been great. Thank you all very much. And it's going to make a real difference. And if you've got time over the weekend or this week, go on to racethethames.com. And we did a bit of an interview with the charities that we are supporting on the Friday, just after Andrew Triggs-Hodge and Alex Gregory were talking on that day. Wonderful time to talk with them. Okay, so just under 2 minutes left. It's a lot warmer here than it was the other day. And, you know, you learn something all the time, don't you? So my takeaway from Gwyn and Glute's session this morning, on Monday morning, was power with purpose. So I definitely, I think that was more about be clear on why you're doing the power, but certainly for us, power with purpose was definitely our motto, I think, for our longer row. Right, 1 minute to go. And if you've started already, that's absolutely fine. Okay. Sometimes you put your feet in the straps, sometimes loose, so as you feel comfortable. And remember to listen to your body. Okay, 30 seconds. I'm trying out a new angle here, but my body shape is definitely not the one to look at. So we're just imagining we're coming out of the lock, we're paddling up river, lovely part of the River Thames, the upper reaches, and there's lots of people not even woken up yet. So this is wonderful. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
So as Judith said, we've left Teddington Lock, and I'm not sure what you can remember about Teddington Lock from previous week. It's the western reach of the PLA stretch of the river. There was Teddington RNLI there, and of course it's where Monty Python's fish lapping dance was filmed. As lots of you had a look at that last week.
It was amazing.
This stretch of river has the best place to row on the Thames claims. Just about every single club has got that on their website. This is the best place to row on the Thames. As you're finding your rhythm, you're keeping good and relaxed. And today we're concentrating on sitting up straight with a strong core. Keeping our bottom underneath us. And not leading with our chins. Our chins don't need to do the work. Arms and legs will do that. The first club that we come to is Walbrook. And they've got 6 to 7 meters between the locks to race on here and row on here. It used to be owned by BP, one of those works clubs. We talked about the Banks clubs when we were in Putney. Also the home of the Skiff Club. This is the skiffing length of the Thames. There's lots of skiff clubs on this stretch. It used to be Walbrook Royal Canoe Club as well. So, but now it's just Walbrook Rowing Club, and the Royal Canoe Club is separate. And they host Teddington Head every November. And famous faces from Walbrook, the most famous probably being Diane Graham, who was chairman of Henley Women's Regatta for 1,000 years.
And she's now actually rowing still in Women's Masters.
She certainly is. Umpires, rows, tows a trailer. Can't see over the steering wheel, but still tows the trailer everywhere. Next door to them is Surbiton High School Boathouse. And then Stevens 8, remember the 8 is an island on the Thames. And there's jolly lots of them on this stretch. And Kingston Rowing Club on the other bank, founded in 1858. One of the Remenham clubs, and we'll talk more about Remenham Club next week. But there are 7 clubs that make up Remenham Club, a private club in Henley-on-Thames. Famous faces from Kingston: David Biddulph, Richard Phelps, and many more.
I think Sarah was there as well, wasn't she?
They host Kingston Regatta, which was founded in 1857. The Small Boats Head and the Head Race. Also home to Tiffin School and Kingston University. The worst place in the world to find parking when you're racing. Well, actually, there's a few contenders for that, but they're one of them. And we're coming up to Kingston Rail Bridge and Kingston Road Bridge. And if you remember, until Putney Bridge opened in 1729, this was the last bridge before London Bridge. And that's your first 5 minutes done.
So I guess though, there was a lot of people either that didn't cross the river, that was a real barrier for people, or they rode across.
Exactly that, yeah. So we've gone past Ravensgate and we're rowing through Hampton Court Park, which is going to lead us somewhere special in a few minutes. We've got Thames Ditton Island and Ditton Skiff and Punting Club. So this is the second of the 4 skiff and punting clubs on this stretch. We've got Kingston Grammar School Boathouse, and there's also Kingston Vets Boat Club, Kingston Grammar School Vets Boat Club. And this is where the River Mole joins the Thames. And the River Mole also goes through our garden here. Well, a tiny tributary of it.
Yeah, likewise.
We always know when it's going to be flooded. And this is where Thames Ditton Regatta is held, founded in 1948. And they row opposite and alongside Hampton Court Palace. And as we're going to admire Hampton Court Palace, you're going to be squeezing on the footplate. If you remember in the warm-up, Sam had you doing those squats with your feet nice and firm on the ground, much more stable than squatting on tiptoes. It's the same on the erg. Using our legs to push, for those of us who have the luxury of using our legs. Hampton Court Palace is from 1514, built for Cardinal Thomas Wolsey, built to be fit for a king. And that king was Henry VIII. He liked it, he took it. It's been a palace, a hotel, a theatre and a leisure complex for Henry VIII. It was both the palace and the prison of Charles I. William III enlarged it to rival Versailles. And George II was the last king to live there. And if you remember last week, he then moved to Kew Palace.
And I think, Di, many years ago, they did the super sprints there. I remember.
Oh, quite possibly.
On the long water, I think there was a special thing after the Olympics. which was absolutely lovely to see rowing in a stately home garden. And a bit of a plug for Blenheim Regatta for juniors in May.
That's on next week's narration.
Nation, yeah, sorry about that, jumping ahead. But
Honestly,
what I remember.
So we've come to Hampton Court Bridge and Molesey Lock. Molesey Boat Club's been here since 1866. And lots of you will have heard of the leg ends on Zoom Ergos running their Thursday session, perhaps one of the top 3 sessions on Zoom Ergos with us, Gwyn and Glutes and Molesey leg ends. The rumours that some of them have been around since 1866 are probably untrue. But some of the famous faces from there, Andrew Triggs Hodge, Mose Behe, Adrian Ellison, Ian McNuff, Ollie and Richard Stanhope, Becky Mazzeri, the Souls. And they host Molesey Veteran and Junior Head, which is this month now, and Molesey Regatta. They're run by committees rather than by the club themselves now, but most of the committee members are from the club. We've gone past Garrick's 8, opposite Garrick's Temple, which is a 1756 folly to Shakespeare. The Astoria houseboat and recording studio owned by David Gilmour of Pink Floyd. And the lovely memorial sundial in Hurst Park. And we'll next come to Hampton School Boat Club and the Millennium Boathouse, which is owned and run by Hampton School and Lady Eleanor Hollis School. And famous faces from Hampton, the Searle brothers, Martin Cross, and many more. And they host Hampton Small Boats Head and Hampton 4s and 8s over 3,000 metres. We're going past reservoirs and waterworks and a nature reserve. And we come to Walton, and it used to be tidal as far as here. And if you remember, it's only tidal now as far as Teddington.
And I think Hampton Court was built in the place that it was because that was effectively the best location that they could come up to on the tide before the lock was built.
Yeah, because most of the transport was by river, as you said. And we're 11.5 minutes in. Walton Rowing Club, founded in 1927. They host Walton Small Boats Head. Walton Amateur Regatta was founded in 1862, is now Walton and Weybridge Regatta, run together with Weybridge Rowing Club. And they also host St George's College and Cranmore School in their complex there. And we come past Thames Valley Skiff Club, which is the 3rd skiffing club on this stretch. Walton Bridge, which, if you remember, has been recently improved. And that's improved navigation at head races in particular. And Judith did a Walton and Weybridge course back in November or December.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to follow the Thames around the island and ignore the Desborough Cut. And we're rejoining at the other end of D'Oyly Cart Island at Shepperton Lock. And there's Weybridge Ladies Rowing Club here, all girls and women over the age of 13, opened in 1926 by Amy Gentry, who worked for Barnes Wallis. She was president of the club until her death in 76, which sadly was just before Pauline Peel of Weybridge Ladies raced the first women's rowing at the Olympics in Montreal in 1976. And this is also where the River Thames meets the River Wey. And here you'll find the Cygnet Boat Club bungalow, Cygnet being one of the clubs by Barnes Bridge. and the bungalow being their summer base for skiffing clubs, skiffing camps and so on. Weybridge Rowing Club, founded in 1881, and that's where Judith and I met over 20 years ago.
Gosh, yes, it's actually on National Trust property in a lovely little location. And of course, Carolyn and John, who founded Wayfarers, are based there as well.
Yeah, founded them in 2000, primarily to look after recreational rowing. They back onto the riverway navigation, but row on the Thames, assuming that they can get over the weir.
Yeah, that's a bit scary at times.
And Matt Tarrant, who's just retired from the GB rowing team, he started his rowing career here along with his two brothers.
Yeah.
We're at 14 minutes. We're now going past Faroes Island and Chertsey Meads, Chertsey Bridge and Lock, and we come to the start of the Burway Head. So William Perkins' school, boathouse here, and Burway Rowing Club, which was once called Staines Town. Founded in 1921 in Staines, it moved to Egham, and it's now on its second site in Leyland. And they hold a regatta which started in 1948 and a head race which started in 1953. And Tom Barras, who won silver at the Olympics this year, is their famous face.
And maybe a big shout out to Tom Matheson, who was nominated this year's British Rowing Awards for Lifetime Achievement. Really an amazing coach who champions the real beginners, getting them on the water.
We've gone past Penton, Hook and Island and Lock. This is the site of Staines Regatta. And this was started in 1851 on a 500-metre stretch downstream. And then Staines Boat Club, and famous faces from there, Judith Packer.
And during lockdown, literally during lockdown, they built a new boathouse after many years of planning. Quite incredible. And amazing achievement over many years. Completely improved that area. I think we're trying to do something special this year.
Marvellous. And Staines is the highest upriver of the 7 Thames rowing clubs that make up Remenham Club. And I'll test you on this next week, but they are Thames, Vesta, Kingston, Staines, Twickenham, London, and Molesey. Yes, 7. Well done, me.
Yeah, well done.
And we're going under the Egham, A30 and M25 bridges. And we come to the site of Egham Regatta, now primarily a junior regatta. And that's where my husband won his sculling pot, his first ever sculling pot.
And I think when I've umpired at Egham, I mean, this is the most important regatta for many people because it's their first. And I've had twins on the start line thinking, have you raced before? No, this is our first race. And it's so amazing to be the umpire for their first ever race and helping them get down the course. Quite a tricky course, actually. So thank you to Egham for putting that wonderful regatta on.
Good call. And it's also the home of Raisbury Skiff and Punting Club. Really hospitable club. And they're based in Runnymede Pleasure Gardens. We're going to row past the statue to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, which was erected in 2015 to mark the 800-year anniversary of the Magna Carta being signed and sealed here in 1215. and teaching granny suck eggs, but Magna Carta being the Charter of Rights of Political Liberties, signed by King John under pressure by his barons. And there's a marker to that here. Further over the road and up the hill a small ways. Further up the hill is the Runnymede Air Force Memorial to 20,406 souls, 456 souls from the British Empire lost in World War II. And there's also the JFK Memorial on land owned by the US. And here we'll find the National Trust for Runnymede and Ankerwick. And Ankerwick is a 1,400 to 2,500 year old yew tree. And as we're coming up to 20 minutes, about 19 and a half now, we'll come to Old Windsor, and there's a lock, and the Albert Bridge into Datchet. And this is where the Jubilee River joins, and that's a hydraulic channel, 7.2 miles long, dug to prevent flooding at Maidenhead, Windsor and Eton, but which may well have pushed the problem further downstream.
No comment.
Designed in an office, obviously.
The trouble with water goes where it wants to. Gravity.
You've done 20 minutes. And we're going to concentrate on breathing. We're not going to pant. Try and breathe in on the slide and out as you push backwards. Nice and tall, keeping our neck in line with our spine, not making our chin do any of the work here. And we've come to Eton College, a few famous rowers from there. And today we're going to pick Sir Matthew Pinsent, but there's Constantine Louloudis, the winners so many times of so many different events, almost owned Henley Royal Regatta Princess Elizabeth event. Eton College was founded in 1440 by Henry VI, not Henry VIII. And they have an old boys rowing club called Eton Vikings. And some of you will remember Eton racing boats used to be built here and are now Eric Sims Racing Supplies. Further upriver, just round the corner from Hannah at Dorney.
And I think we've just sent a text to Hannah to say we're on our way.
Yes, put the kettle on.
Put the kettle on.
Although she's cycling so madly here, I think she's running the generator. We've gone past Romney Island and under Windsor Foot and Bike Bridge, and there's been a bridge here since 1172. And we can see Windsor Castle, founded in the 11th century by Henry I. Richards just reminded us that another famous Walbrook rower was Sarah Winkles.
Yeah.
Now also an umpire. And as Judith mentioned earlier, for anybody who was on, in 2013, there was a 60th anniversary of the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. There was a coronation regatta held in the grounds at Windsor Castle.
And I think Richard was one of the umpires. I was certainly there, together with myself and a few others. And I think the most poignant moment for me was when there was an army Navy, Air Force and other race. And as the crews were coming up to the start, there was just that 5 minutes that the Queen was on a little stand, and the crews noticed that, and they stopped and did 3 cheers. Or maybe they carried on rowing, did 3 cheers. It's just amazing awareness of what's going on around you, and respect, and that's amazing.
Lovely. And here we've gone past Windsor Boys School Boathouse. Windsor Boys School Boat Club was founded by members of Eton Excelsior, and they're one of a couple of state schools with rowing as their primary sport. And we'll come across another one of those next week.
And I think Daryl Preston runs this
Coronation Row,
session.
Yes. Which is entry-level indoor rowing and strength and conditioning. And then for the older kids, he does some on-water sessions, but he starts them off at junior 10 there. We've gone past Royal Windsor Racecourse, Boveney Lock, and Eton Excelsior Rowing Club, founded in 1826. And as you come into your final 5 minutes, keeping the pressure on your feet, if you can, keeping your bottom under you, keeping the rhythm, but upping the power if you want to. And in our final 5 minutes, we've come to Dorney Lake, which is on Dorney Island. You called Dorney because it means the island of bees, and they've actually got active hives there. It's a privately owned lake of Eton College. It's where their boat club is based, along with Dorney Rowing Club, which is the outreach arm of the college. They have currently 8 schools involved in Dorney Rowing Club now, and there were 16 before COVID struck, and it's climbing up again. Eton College has a history of altruism. They also founded Eton Mission Rowing Club in Hackney in the late 19th century. It's also where Dorney Court is. It's been a house here since the Domesday Book. Currently, it's a Tudor manor house, 500 years old. And there are traces of prehistoric occupation on this site, including a 3,300-year-old religious complex. And they host events. They used to host Thames Valley Trailhead, used to be my favourite event of January. But they host All Sport Juniors Scullinghead and All Sport Juniors Regatta, Wallingford Regatta, which really kicks off the seniors at racing season, Ball Cup South, which is for juniors, Metropolitan, Marlow, and then they've hosted World Cup in 2005 and 2013. They hosted the Junior World Champs in 2011 and the Senior World Champs in 2006. Hosted the Coupe de la Jeunesse in 2005. And possibly the most famous of all, the Olympic Games in 2012 and the Paralympic Games also in 2012, with the world famous Dorney Roar from the stands there, which kept the GB crews really performing at their very best. And you've got 2.5 minutes to go. So it's kitchen sink time, everybody.
And just while we're thinking of Dorney Lake, last spring I did these virtual regatta express starts. So if anybody's wanting to do a little bit of start practice for multi-lane, just let us know. And we'll do that again in April sometime. In the meantime, a bit of a shout out for a new thing that's just come on through Ergos. Zoe to Toledo's put up a women's 8 head coxing session on one of the Mondays, first Monday of March. So if you know anybody that's wanting to race the women's head, that will be a really great one to join.
Yeah, echo that. We were at Quinton Head last weekend, and there was quite some poor discipline on boating and deboating. So Zoe's going to include that as well, to make sure that we avoid the time penalties or DQs for people being late there. You're in your last minute. Well, there you go. I've learnt something else today. Richard's just said it's called Walbrook Rowing Club because that's the name of the river that ran under Britannia House, the city HQ of BP.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you, Richard. Our encyclopedic narrative is continuing to grow, which is wonderful. 30 seconds. Let's go. Really sitting up. Making this the best. Next 5 strokes. Really draw it through. Press on the feet.
And wind down.
Okay, well done everyone. I'm just going to cool down on the erg and then for a couple of minutes, 2 minutes, and then if you're able to stay, Sam will do another little bit of a stretch just to start your stretching off. And do try and do a little bit more stretching before you seize up later on this morning if you can. Really great. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Di. Amazing commentary.
Thank you. And hopefully Hannah will, when she's got her breath back, come on and tell us a bit more about Tawny.
Yeah. Okay. So good to just cool down, just let the blood keep circulating, carry that lactic away. Maybe go to 3/4 slide if you want to. However awful you might feel at the end of the race, really good to just keep moving. This helps all the physiology. 1 more minute before I get off. So well done, everybody. Thank you for joining. We will put both Sam's website and the Just Giving website in the chat. The funds are open until the 21st of February, so plenty of time. But if you want to also give gift aid, please do look at the B-Row charity, the Zoom Ergo charity, which can accept gift aid. So it's all part of one, really. We've definitely reached our target. So, and thank you for Zoom Ergo for hosting us all this almost a year. Right, Sam, are you set?
Yep, all ready to go.
Great, thank you.
Just spotlight me, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll try to. I'll go off.
Okay, there we go. Right, so if you'd like to join me for stretches, stay seated on your erg just for the moment. And again, do as much or as little as you want. So I'm nice and tall from the crown of my head, starting off with some neck stretches. So to begin with, I'm dropping my chin to my chest, hand resting gently on my head, one or both hands, so stretching the back of my neck. So these stretches, we're going to hold for around about 15-20 seconds or so. If you want to develop your stretches, i.e. get more flexible, you need to be holding them for a little longer. But this is just to get us back to where we were. Stay nice and tall. Okay, ease yourself out of that.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you pin yourself, Sam, or somebody pin you? Because I'm seeing lots of Judith.
Judith, if you just mute yourself, that'll work, I think.
I am muted.
Okay, right ear to right shoulder, right hand on your head and reach away. I can't actually pin myself because I'm not a host at the moment. No, I haven't got the option.
Is that any better, everybody?
That's better. That's better.
Lovely. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So still sitting up nice and tall. Right ear to right shoulder. Right hand on your head. Reaching away with your left arm. So getting a stretch down the side of your neck on the left hand side. Make it active. So I'm gently pushing down on my head with my fingers, and I'm really reaching away with that left arm, the straight arm that's reaching to the floor. And if you just play around with the angle of your chin, it'll change the emphasis of where you feel that stretch. Lovely. Swap sides. So left ear to left shoulder, left hand on top of your head. I always want to say left hand on top of left head at that point. Okay, and reach away with your right arm. So getting a stretch all the way down the side of your neck. And again, play around with that angle of your chin. So lifting up and down a little bit. Wonderful. Okay, outer shoulder stretch. So at this point, I'm pushing myself back to backstops on my slide, taking my right arm across my chest, left arm comes up and under. So I'm sort of pinning my right arm with my left, getting a stretch all the way around the outer shoulder area into the top part of my back on the right hand side. Again, you can play around with the angle of this as well. You can lift your arm a little bit, you can lower it, you can bend your arm all the way around your back, and some of you will be able to grab hold of your shoulder blade and use your fingers with against your shoulder blade to get a little deeper into that stretch. Okay, take a deep breath in, breathe out, see if you can go a little deeper. Excellent. Same on the other side. So left arm across my chest, right arm is coming up and underneath, pinning it, looking for that stretch outside the shoulder on the left hand side. Some of you might want to rotate a little bit as well. So you're rotating through your spine. Same thing applies. You can lift the hand up or arm up. You can lift it down a little bit. Have a wriggle around and find where you need to stretch the most rather than just doing the same muscle fibers every time. Brilliant. Well done. Okay, release out of that. Lats. So going down the side of your body. My knees are bent. My feet are flat to the floor. Hand either on the hip or on the seat. And then you're reaching up and over. Judith, would you mind just muting yourself for the moment? Thank you. Okay. Reaching up and over. That's it. So I'm getting a stretch all the way down the sides. Lovely. And same on the other side. So either hand on hip or hand on your seat, reaching up with my left hand, getting that stretch all the way down the side. I can look up to that top hand as well. And if you reach palm towards ceiling, that will get a slightly deeper stretch. Brilliant. Triceps, please. That's back of arms. I've got both arms up in the air. I'm dropping my right hand down my back. My left arm, I'm easing back from the back of my arm or elbow, reaching as far down my back as I can, trying to keep my chin off my chest. I'm not very good at that, but if you can, do. Lovely. Same on the other side. So reaching up, drop your left hand down your back, easing hand on elbow or from back of arm. You can add in a little lean over to the side as well if you're clever. Coordinated this morning. Okay, chest stretch of your choice. So you might want to put your hands in the small of your back and squeeze your elbows together and lift your chest out. So feeling that stretch in pectoral muscles. You might feel it top of your arm as well. You can also interlace your hands behind you and lift your arms up. I'm going to come off here. Lift your arms up like that. That works for some. Lovely. Release out of that. Okay, still seated on my erg. Make sure you are at backstops. You're pulling up out of your hips, you rotate into the left. So I'm crossing my right arm over my left, and I'm using that to pin myself. And my other arm, my left arm, is holding on to the back of my seat somewhere, or you can have it on your body somewhere. So I'm basically using my hands to anchor myself as I pull up out of my hips and rotate round. Keep your chin tucked in. So imagine you've got a grapefruit under your chin. You want to keep it there. You're not squashing it and you're not dropping it on the floor. Okay, same again on the other side. So pull up out your hips. Your knees are still tracking over the line of your feet. You're rotating. You grab hold of the back of your seat or small of your back. And the other hand is on the outside of your knee. So locking yourself and aiding that rotation. Lovely. Come out of that. Right, I'm coming forwards towards front stops. I'm putting one foot, just resting it in the stretcher. I'm starting off with a bent leg. So I've got a slight bend in my right knee. I'm pulling up out of my hips, flexing and getting a bent leg hamstring stretch. My other foot is just on the floor. This will be very different for all of us. Some of you will feel a bit of a hamstring stretch. Some of you might feel it in your lower back. Doesn't matter, wherever you get it. Take a deep breath in, breathe out, go a little deeper. Well done. Okay, now straighten that leg. So I've still got my right leg in, it's straight. I'm pulling up out my hips, flexing. You can support your hands on thighs. So again, this is your classic hamstring stretch with the straight leg. Wonderful. Swap slides, bent leg, hamstring stretch. So left leg in, slight bend in the knee, pull it up out of your hips, flex. You can ease yourself a little further forward, holding onto the rail if you want to. That works for me quite nicely. Lovely. Come out of that, straighten your legs, pull up, flex, keeping a nice straight back. Don't be tempted to round your shoulders. So some of you might be a lot more upright. It doesn't matter. Work with whatever your body allows. Brilliant. Okay. Outer hip stretch. Put yourself on back stops. Cross your right leg over your left. So you've got your left leg on the left foot on the floor. I've got this figure of 4 shape right over left. Pull up out your hips, lean into that stretch, looking for to feel it sort of outside of your hip, your backside area, glute med, glute minimus. Some of you will feel it on the inside of your thigh as well because it's a bit of an adductor stretch. Excellent. Swap sides. So right foot flat to the floor, left foot in a figure of 4, crossing over my right leg. And you can either just ease yourself in and out. I'm pushing against my knee with my hand. You can lean forward and push elbow against knee. This is a really nice one to do. As we get older in particular, you get very stiff around the hips. And this outer hip stretch is definitely a good one to do because we don't use that range of movement in rowing at all. Okay, from there into a stretch for your back. So you are sitting nice and tall on your erg, you chin to your chest, you're rounding your back this time. You might want to fold your arms, you might want to fold them under the rail and try and get the crown of your head onto the rail. If you're really flexible and you can do that easily, go sideways on and get your hands wrapping on the inside of your leg, underneath your hands, underneath your toes, and try and get your shoulders disappearing underneath your knees. Just don't expect a demo because that's not going to happen here. But that's what you can do. Lovely, well done. Come up out of that into a quad stretch. So that's front of thighs, been using them lots. So some of you might choose to stand and it is heel to bottom in some shape or form. If you can, if you've got the room, lie yourself down and do heel to bottom, that shape. So I'm sideline, it's still heel to bottom. Easing my hips forward, drawing my knee back. You can do it face down as well. There's kneeling versions. Do your favorite. Lovely. Swap sides. So heel to bottom, whatever shape you're doing. Laying down is always a good option because you don't have to worry about falling over and standing up and holding your balance. particularly if you've worked hard. Ease yourself a little deeper into that. Wonderful. Okay, finishing off with a full body stretch. If you're standing, just lengthen, reach up to the ceiling. If you're seated, reach to the ceiling. If you're on the floor, make yourself as long as you can. Really reaching. And release. And do that one more time. Reach. And release. Lovely. Well done. Deep breath in, everybody. Sit yourself up. Thank you.